Hey guys, Dr. Krystalyn Lowery here at Navigate Wellness, your family's destination for prenatal, postpartum, and performance wellness care. This is a kind of informal video for you guys on functional progression flow and shin box flow and how we link them up. I like to call this a functional progression remix, and we don't have a full video of it, so we're going to take some time to do a nicer one for you guys later, but Kara and I just wanted to bring this to you so that you know what one of your possible rehab movements looks like that can turn into a functional movement practice. So instead of feeling like you have homework from Navigate Wellness, you have something that you can incorporate as a warm-up or as a cool down, and later we'll do a video of it with weights. You can do dumbbells at home, resistance band, or kettlebells added on to most of these movements to challenge your functional movement practice to the next level without having to be in the gym in case of snow or rain or babies or whatever it is that's going on in your world. So we're going to start here. This is the shin box flow setup with one leg back and one leg forward. And when I start this, we're going to show you shin box first, and then I'm going to show you functional progression 1 to 2 into it. So when we're here, we always have nice neutral spine, so ear stacked over shoulder over hip, and we're always staying connected to our breath. None of these movements require you to hold your breath. You should not be doing that. And a lot of times I see that happen in the office when people are really concentrating, they hold their breath. So keep that diaphragmatic breath. That beautiful dome-shaped muscle underneath your rib cage is lowering and flattening as we're breathing in, creating intra-abdominal pressure with our 360 degrees of support around our core and our pelvic floor as well. So when we do shin box flow, we drive into the ground. I tend to have my hands in front of me, come to standing. The back leg, the one that's not right in front of you, is the one that comes around. So my right leg here and left. And then we're gonna drive this leg into the ground to come to stand. When you're here, you can easily go into, if you wanted to go into like a single leg deadlift. If you're really crazy, you go into like a pistol squat. Or if you have a weight, you can come out into a good squat stance, and you could go into a body weight squat, or if you had a kettlebell, you could do a goblet squat. If you're wearing a baby, this is a great thing to do when you're ready postpartum, to come into a baby wearing here, having baby. It's a great way. Or if you don't have a baby and you have a kettlebell, you go into kettlebell swings. So there's a lot of things that we could do here, and then with that weight or with body weight, coming back down, you bring that leg back, other leg swings back around, and we're back in our seated position. So that's shin box. We can also then flow from side to side by, this is a great hip mobilizer. We are keeping, again, nice neutral spine, staying connected to our breath, and we're shifting to the other hip. And you can go back and forth for this as a great hip mobilizer. This is a good warm-up that you could do before you started doing any of this. I'm gonna turn so you can see, and then the other way, same thing. You are always going to have one side that's more dominant than the other. One side will feel easier. The side I showed you first is my easier side. So you can even watch me and learn. You can look for areas that I don't have perfect stability. Many of you guys know I've been in 2 pretty bad car accidents. We are always in a functional movement practice. This is part of our life. So don't lose it just because you think you feel good. We're always striving towards better performance, better optimal health and function. So driving knees into ground, glutes are active. Leg that's behind you, not the one that's parallel here, comes around. Plant, drive into the ground to come to standing. And again, you could go into a squat, you go into single leg deadlift, you go into a pistol squat. I can't do one all the way down, but if you're crazy, go for it. Go into kettlebell, swings, whatever makes you happy. You can come back down here, swing leg around, and you're back down to seated. Now, this is our shin box start position. With a hand down, this becomes what we call a high oblique sit when you're on your hand, and you can be in a low oblique sit. When we're in low oblique sit, if you've been doing your homework, this looks a lot like a functional progression 2 start position, which is what it is. So your elbow is stacked right underneath your shoulder, hand is on the ground and forearm's on the ground. Heel, hip, elbow, and shoulder are all in alignment, and you will feel like your head is not looking perfectly at the horizon because we want nice neutral spine, like there's a PVC pipe or a rod down our spine. Knee drives into the ground. This is also a glute activator. Great if you have any abdominal separation, the diastasis rectus, this brings that closed. So I like to cue breath here because then I know I'm breathing 360 degrees into my core. If you are anybody that's had any sort of injuries or if you're postpartum, this is something that's a great cue at first to make sure you're not holding your breath or that you're not just breathing into your belly, but you're truly breathing diaphragmatically to create 360 degrees of stabilization in breath and intra-abdominal pressure. So we're here, and it's a hip extension. So at no point are we falling in. It is not a side crunch. Hip is open and extended with neutral spine. And you could do, maybe 3 here would be good. You can also do this with a weight. So if you had a weight here, or if you wanted, you could have a weight up. It's totally up to you. Once we've done 3 here, then we can roll back down into a functional progression 1. This is functional progression 2 to 1 transition, or 1 to 2. And we're here. This is back to functional progression 1. If you've been in my office, most people have seen someone do this. Optional modifications, if you are super pregnant, are to do it up against a wall, not laying on your back, or if you are not yet able to maintain enough intra-abdominal pressure to have a neutral spine, you can put your feet on an ottoman or a chair. And then we want to make sure we're always breathing into our 360 degrees of our abdominal wall, into our low back. Knees are wider than hips. It's kind of like a diamond. If you've ever done a dead bug, I like to call these ballerina dead bugs. The difference here is not that we are straight and parallel, but we are here, and I'll turn to the side so you guys can see this in a second. Opposite arm and opposite leg extend, and come back to neutral. Extend, and come back to neutral. It is just as much about stabilizing the set that's not moving as it is about moving one pair. We don't want to see this. We don't want to see knees coming in. So we don't want to see this knee go from external rotation into straight. And we definitely don't want to see your low back arch off the ground. And Kara, you can tell me if you can see this in the shirt, but we don't want to see this. Can you see that?
Yeah.
So this is opening, ribs are flaring up, pelvis is tilting down. This is a very quick way to make sure that you are not functionally moving, you're not training well, you're training in compensation instead of function. It'll make you more uncomfortable or at least less stable. So we're here, and now I'm gonna do this in the next video on probably a double time for you guys. I'll figure out how to do that. But when we're here, we're rolling, and we're always letting our eyeballs lead. So I'm looking where I'm going, but I'm not turning my whole head. So I'm just looking with my eyes, and my spine stays really neutral. Notice that my head doesn't come off the ground when I'm just in functional progression 1 to 2. Really slow and controlled down. Back up. Slow and controlled, arm and leg meet the ground at the same time, and ideally come off the ground at the same time. At first you may kind of fall, or you might have to push yourself. That's okay when you're first learning, but eventually you want to get to nice neutral spine. This is also the best way for you to get back up off the floor when you're done doing your rehab. Come out of here and come to stand. So I will do one of like a functional progression remix with no narration that will speed up for double time so that you don't have to watch such a long video, but hopefully this is complete. This is like a kind of rehab demo visit in the office. So if you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment below, or if you got this in an email, just respond to the email. I have a 24 to 48 hour turnaround on that, but I'll get you a good answer. Or you can always call into the office and ask Kara if we can find a time in the schedule to make a longer appointment to go over your rehab. She's fully certified, and so am I, as well as Dr. Missy and Dr. Ashley. Any of us can go over this with you because we all know it. So we're happy to get you moving functionally. I hope this becomes part of your functional movement practice, and we'll see you in the office soon. Bye, guys.